Hi, welcome to Truth and Reality. I am Ashley, and I am so glad that you're here with us today. Truth and Reality is a podcast that's dedicated to just that, talking about the realities of life, the ups and downs, the in-betweens, and how truth, faith, and God fits into those spaces. And we're here today with Melissa. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Ash, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. I see we both have our fun shirts on.
Oh, yes. I actually blend in with my shirt today. I took my kids to the Twins game yesterday. So yes, this is, we're not planned, but I'm the same color as my shirt today.
That's great.
Hey, Ash, I have a question for you. If you could have anything in this mug from Starbucks, what would it be?
Ooh, summer cold brew with extra heavy cream. Extra, not the normal amount. How about you?
Okay. I would probably have an iced latte. I need it strong. I need a lot of caffeine. So yep, an iced latte.
Awesome. We would love to hear from you too. So tell us your favorite drink from Starbucks or Caribou if you're a Caribou person. I am not, but put it in the chat and we are going to draw a winner for a gift card. So put it in the chat.
I love it. I
Yeah.
think we should mix it up a little bit, Ash. I think we should start out because you and I are funny. People don't know our relationship or they get to see a snapshot on here. But I think, and I'll do this next time, but you start. I think you should tell us like a really embarrassing story about you. I know we're going to get into our topic, but I think you should start out and tell us something funny about you.
Okay. Most embarrassing moment ever? Ever. It is embarrassing. Okay.
Do I know about
I
this?
don't
Was I
know.
with you? Okay, here we go.
This has happened in college. I was in Hawaii for my sister's wedding. My sister got married in Hawaii, and we were there for the entire week. And so it was before the wedding. So I have this tube, this is going tube top bikini because I don't want tan lines for her wedding. And we're in Hawaii on the North Shore. And it's like my brothers, my dad, my to-be brother-in-law and some of their buddies that were there that flew there to celebrate the wedding with them. And we're sitting on the North Shore of Hawaii. We're on Oahu. And if you've ever been there, the waves are ginormous. That's where everybody surfs. And so these waves are rolling in. I had just recovered from an ACL tear in my knee. So we're going into the water, we're going swimming. I go down and like the waves come up and push the sand. So you walk down into the ocean kind of like that. So I'm walking down, we're going into the ocean, everything's good. We're swimming in the ocean, we're getting off, we're riding the waves. I'm getting out and I get pummeled by a wave. I literally get knocked over. I'm rolling up the shoreline. My top slides down as my dad, two brothers, future brother-in-law, and their buddies are all sitting on the top of the shoreline watching us. And I'm like, oh my gosh, cover myself. As the wave goes back out, my mom runs down to help me, and another wave comes and takes us both out.
No.
So anyways, to this day, that is my most embarrassing moment.
So did you find the tube top? Did you pull it back up?
Oh, it went around my waist.
Okay, so you didn't lose it all together. Okay, you didn't lose it all together. You got it back up.
Got it back up, hobbled off, covered in sand, just disheveled. My mom was trying to help me. I had weak knees, so I couldn't really stand up after having surgery. Yeah. It was a mess. It was a mess. And I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, needless to say, that was
the swimsuit. Did you ever wear the swimsuit again?
I don't remember, but probably not. It was one of those really thin ones with just like one tie in the back. Yeah.
I couldn't. No, there's no way.
It was lime green. I loved it. Obviously, I love green. It was lime green bikini. Oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing.
Okay, that's a good story. I'm going to have to be thinking. I'll share on the next one. I'll share a good story. I don't know if it goes that good, but I'll be thinking.
Yeah. I haven't had two. Oh, I have another embarrassing one. We'll save it for next time, though. About this one. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Well, we want to keep this, like reality. And like Melissa and Iris' relationship, we talk about the serious stuff. We pray together. We call each other when we have good high moments. And we laugh and we share just the funny experiences that life brings us with our kids or each other or whatever we're doing. So we want to bring that element to you as well. Today, let's see, we were talking about self-care last time. And so today we're going to talk about how like what pace we run at and the capacity we have as individuals and whatnot. So I'll let Melissa kind of get going and take that off, talking about like pace and capacity and, what we have and what we're able to do as individuals.
Yeah, no, I think you and I have had this conversation quite a bit. And so that's why we really found it was probably a great topic, because we're probably not the only two who are struggling with it or having moments of it. I think the Melissa probably 4 years ago was different than the Melissa now, and not saying one was bad or one was good. My capacity in that season, Matt, was, working a really high, high demand job. He was traveling all the time, and we were go, 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 right? We had 3 young kids. And so my capacity was different. We ran hard, we traveled, and it was busy, and we attended a lot of events, and it was great in that season. I didn't know anything differently. Probably the Melissa today, what I'm able to do and have the capacity to do is totally different. And I think it's just the season that I'm in. I can't say it's forever, but I've changed probably a lot. And so what I allow, I guess, what you and I have talked about a lot is like staying in the lane and knowing what I can handle and knowing what I can say yes to and what I can say no to, is really different than what 4 years ago looked like. And I probably would say that's not necessarily just because of widowhood. It's just because I'm a single mom and there's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
Sports is a big thing that I love for my kids, and I'll make sure that that's always in the equation. But as far as like doing the day to day and things that I get asked to do, I can't always say yes. And I think I've learned in this season, sometimes saying no to things is actually my best yes, because it allows me to be better in those other spaces. And so capacity looks different. I have a lot of friends around me that are running pretty fast and doing things and entrepreneurs, and it's great. And I think I can't compare myself. I get into a comparison trap a lot. Like I think that we can do in this society, just to be like, oh, I wish I could be there and I wish I could keep up like that. It's like, I have to just stay where this is what I'm good at right now. And these are the things that I'm striving towards. And it's okay where I'm at. I probably function at a slower pace than you do, Ash. And I love to be your friend and I love to see all the exciting things you're doing. I can't in this season, but it's okay, and there's no competition between you and I, which is beautiful too. How about for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that in different seasons, like you're saying, I have capacity for different things. When all my kids were little and my twins were babies, like it was real simple. It was real slow paced, fast paced with kids, but slow paced as if the things that I'm involved in. And I've just learned, and that's partly part of self care too, and learning to know myself and getting to know who I am and what I can handle. And then knowing how to say yes and no and having those boundaries to know, like, is this something I can give my time to? And a lot of things that I've had to stop and to process some, pray about, is this something that God's calling me to, or is this something that's just trying to fill space? Or, do I feel pressured to do or something like that, based on what other people are doing or what I think I should be doing. And so I think like capacity has changed. I think that as I came out of a season which was really healing. In my
Yep.
season of healing, that's what I did. I
Yep.
did counseling, I did self-care, I took care of my kids. I really tried to ground myself and say no to a lot of things so I could say yes to my kids, so I can say yes to spending time with God and being intentional with that open space that I needed. Um and now as life is shifting and moving, and not that I'm not done healing, I think there's always spaces and places God brings healing to and grows
Yep.
us.
Yep.
I'm continuing to do that, but I'm starting to say yes to more things, to blogging and writing and starting a podcast and now opening a nonprofit that's coming. Is I'm starting to say yes to things, but God's increasing my capacity. It's not necessarily that I have more time or space. I still have the same things, still doing grad school, stuff like
Yep.
that. But it's almost as if that when God's the one saying, okay, here's the next thing, or here's what I'm calling you to in the season, right? He was calling me back here into the season of
Right.
healing. And
Yep.
he gave me the capacity to do that. That's tough work.
Yep.
That's hard work
Right.
walking through those things. And as I've walked forward, it's shifted and changed. And I feel like now I'm being called to different things in my hands in a lot of different things at the same time. And so I'm learning how to run at a faster pace. And like I
Right.
said last episode, that my self-care has, and just taking care of myself, not necessarily
Yeah.
like getting my nails done self-care, but
Yeah.
like taking care of myself has started to dwindle as my pace is increasing. And I just felt that pull, like, hey, Ashley, we're dropping the ball on these foundational things here. Like, let's step back And
Yep.
I feel like God's asking me to, okay, slow down. Yep, I'm asking you to do these things, but don't forsake yourself or your kids in order to get them done, right? There's an
Right.
order and a process to it. Yeah. So that's
No.
kind of what I'm experiencing about, what I'm saying yes to, my capacity, yeah, in that space and how fast, quickly or slowly I'm moving through those things.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point because I think no matter what season you're in, obviously after Matt passed, I knew that season was a time to heal and help my kids heal. And so
Hmm.
that was just a really fragile time that I didn't allow much of other things in my life. Now, we're almost coming on 4 years and my kids will continue to heal and I will in a different capacity. But I feel like I've said yes to new things, doing this with you, saying yes
Hmm.
to, helping widows and different things like that. And I think it's okay because you can realize you have that ability to do it. It doesn't stress me out. It doesn't wear me out. It's actually life giving. And so I think it's so
Yeah.
careful. You're so careful in those moments to realize, is this something I can handle? Okay,
Hmm.
if I can do this, do I have to take other things out? What do I allow myself? Okay, earlier bedtimes like you and I had talked about, or
Hmm.
not making sure we have a good diet. All of those things I think are so important to self-care and making sure, of when we say yes to something in that season
Hmm.
that is the right thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting when you're talking about the seasons and capacity and what you're saying yes to. It's interesting. I just thought of this now that like both of the things we're saying yes to individually in the season, which is increasing our capacity, is
Yeah.
actually talking about and being real about how God has healed us and how
Yeah.
God's walked us through in our journeys, um, just of life and of the individual struggles we walked through, but also how we've grown and how we've changed. And so I think that's so interesting that as we both did that work and process and continue to do that work, that
Yeah.
now we're feeling called and feeling led and having God say, like, okay, like we're going to increase the capacity. It's almost we're doing the same thing, but from a
Right.
more healed position where
Yeah.
now we're willing to share about it or we're in a position to share about it. No one would
Right.
want to hear about it when it was back here, right? That was real
Well,
messy.
right. And that's what I was thinking when you said that is actually if someone's in it that's listening right now, it's
Yeah.
like I would say don't rush the season of healing, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like it was going to be forever and I was never going to be able to do these big things. Like I could see and and dream about things that were going to happen, but yet in the moment I knew I needed to heal and heal properly and take the
Yeah.
time so I'm able to be where I'm at today. And I think like you said, you
Absolutely.
can't rush that season. Sometimes it feels like forever, but I think it's so important what we say yes to and what is life giving. And this is so exciting, but there's a season for it, and
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and saying yes to it. It's like, what are you saying yes to? What do you feel led to say yes to? What's the capacity?
Mhm.
What's God doing inside of you? What's going on in your life? Like being able to recognize that and know that and not rush through it too. And I just feel like highlighting
Mhm.
what you just said because when I was walking through like the first breaking of, my marriage and identity, I remember saying, I can't do this any longer. And it had been like a week. And I was at the point where like, I can't do this. This needs to be fixed. I can't do this.
Mhm.
And I remember telling my brother, like, telling him that. And he goes, what if it takes 3 years? And I, in that moment, was like,
Mhm.
I can't do 3 days. I don't think I
Yeah.
can do this 3 years. And now I'm 5 years from when I said that to him.
Right.
And I'm like, first of all, it felt like it took forever. In the
Yep.
same breath, I felt like how could it already be 5 years? That went so
Right.
fast,
Right.
right? And so in the moment, you feel like you're gonna always be in this situation or season or stuck or whatever you're walking through. Or even if it's just raising young kids. I remember thinking when I had a 4-year-old and 2-year-old, like, I'm gonna be raising 4-year-olds and 2-year-olds forever. Like the
Right.
days are so
Right.
long, but
Yeah.
overall, like the years, they just fly by. And it's so
They do.
like when you allow yourself this space to sit in the season that you're in and learn from that season what it has to offer you,
Yep.
then you'll find yourself progressing to the next season. And the thing that I love is that seasons change. And we know that here in Minnesota because we have the earth to show us
Totally.
seasons change. But
Right.
sometimes in the middle of winter, we're Minnesotans, we're like, it's never going to be
Long.
spring, right?
Right.
And we feel that way emotionally about seasons, but knowing that if we sit there, there's something to learn in that season. There's something to grasp in that season. Even if it's really painful, God can still work those seasons for good, even if the season isn't good, right? Nothing,
Right.
not that it's good. Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking. Just the same thing when you said that is not wishing it away. You know,
Mhm.
even though it feels hard and there's tension in it, right? My kids are
Mhm.
older. They were 5, 6, and 7 when Matt passed. Now they're 11, 10, and 9. And so one's
Mhm.
going to middle school. And I told you the other day, like, I'm facing new challenges. They'd
Mhm.
still be challenges if Matt was here. It's just like he's kind of preteen. And so I'm learning to navigate. But I think even my prayer this morning was, God, help me not to wish it away, even though it's hard and there's tension in it, and know that
Yeah.
there's going to be beauty in it, but it's just hard, And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Yeah. I love how you said that. Like you asked, you said, God, help me not to wish it away. Like giving you that space and asking him for perspective on like, what season am I in?
yep,
Help me to accept the season I'm in while moving through it, right? Not
yes,
like sit in it, don't grow, don't change, and you're just upset about it, right? And we've been
mhm,
in those places. I'm not going to say I've not
right,
been in that place, but I've learned too that accepting doesn't mean it doesn't move forward, but it means
right,
like, okay, I'm going to be present. I'm going to be here. God, help me be in this because this is tricky. And then like progress and move through it. So, and I
right,
love that how, you're like, God, help me. I say that a lot of
yeah,
times. God help me. I don't know how to do this. God help me. So,
right.
yeah, I think that's beautiful.
Right. And I think, yeah, it's just so important, especially in the seasons. I think so many times I wanted to wish away hard, and hard is typically where the growth comes from. And I
Mhm.
think something you said too is like movement. It's like it sometimes happens like it feels like you're moving forward, but it just doesn't feel very fast. Or I've
Yeah.
told you, I think, even a year ago, I'm like, nothing's changed in my life. And you're like, actually, from a friend, this is what I view. But in
Yeah.
it didn't feel like anything was moving or anything was progressing, or I was at the same place in grief and the same
Yeah.
place as parenting. And I think we have to be kind to ourselves in those moments of remembering it's movement, it's small, you know, there's
Yeah.
progress. It may not feel like it or look like it, but it's happening. Change takes
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and just knowing that, like, other people are running, walking, crawling at different paces, and
Right.
we've experienced that. I've been at a crawling pace. I've been at a sitting place, actually, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest, before
And
too,
none of them are
and now I'm
bad, right?
no,
Yeah.
and now I'm walking, and now we're jogging, and, like, people are gonna run at different rates. People are gonna be in different callings. People are
Yep.
called to different things, and we're all experiencing life at different paces. So,
Hmm.
just remembering the importance of knowing where we are, asking God where we are, what is it He's calling us to, what pace are we supposed to be running at, and just having those open conversations with friends, just to be real,
Right.
because we need to be real even in the frustrations. Like if I'm in a sitting season and I'm like, nothing's happening, having that voice. So you're saying, actually, this is happening. Actually, it's so good. You're sitting in that and working through that, like having that
Yep.
voice in friendship, in counseling, or however you're getting that. So, well,
No, I
thanks,
totally
Melissa.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining us. Find us at Peace Runs Deep on Instagram and Facebook. Check out our website. We have some resources on there for you. We have weekly emails. We have some resources on identity in Christ and our information on our podcast and blogs. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.